Thursday today, we have a coastal flood concern, especially for parts of the Jersey Shore.
Yet again, Fox Weather's Katie Byrne is live from North Wildwood, New Jersey, with more on what they're dealing with this morning. Katie, boy, a windy start to the morning for you. Tidal flooding will be an issue, especially once we go through high tide later this afternoon.
Yeah, the wind is whipping here, guys. I mean, we have been feeling it. You mentioned the sustained wind sounds like in the 20s, then we've had gusts in the 30s. We'll see what happens for the rest of the day, but man, it's definitely the first thing that you're going to notice stepping outside in this. Of course, not so many people outside just yet because the sun hasn't come up yet, but it's starting to, and you can see a little bit of what I've been sharing with you. We have that water from the ocean getting really close to this seawall here in North Wildwood. About an hour ago was actually lashing up and over the seawall in some parts here, but now that we are approaching low tide, which is in about an hour, we're seeing the water go down a bit. Still, it's dangerously close here. And we're already seeing some ponding in the roads. Hard to say if that's from coastal flooding or just the rainfall that we've had. It started last night. You're going to notice on the roads, if you're driving in the night, it's hard to see because of that wet pavement. There's a glare. We've, of course, been somewhat dry here in the Jersey Shore since the nor'easter earlier this month. So we haven't picked up half an inch of rain since then, but of course that was a big one for a lot of coastal communities, especially in New Jersey and Delaware, dealing with flooding from that storm, which was mid-October, October 12th, 13th. And now we're in this next round of rain that's likely to potentially bring some flooding to the area, and I think people are preparing for that, especially because so many of these coastal communities dealt with so much erosion from the nor'easter that we just had. So you could see what these communities are dealing with up and down the coast, but we had this erosion really impacting some areas that had just finished beach replenishment project, especially over in the northern Jersey Shore coastline communities. We had a beach replenishment project just wrap up in Brick area, New Jersey, and Point Pleasant actually picked up some of the most rain from that nor'easter. 3.5 inches of rain was picked up there. So we're going to wait and see what happens here, but the erosion has really got a lot of people concerned in this area, especially North Wildwood, where this has been a long-standing issue. They have been spending money for decades now trying to protect the shoreline here, and a lot of that money actually comes from the community themselves. 10% of the municipal tax goes towards shore protection here. The mayor of North Wildwood is going to meet with us in a couple hours to talk to us a little bit about what they're doing to prepare for this storm and the rest of the fall and winter. As we know, those nor'easters can be so dangerous for shoreline communities that are already dealing with damaged dune systems and eroded coastlines. You can see that that's a problem here in North Wildwood because we have that water lashing up so close to the seawall, and then of course getting closer to the businesses and the homes right nearby. But essentially every East Coast state, North Carolina and up, is going to be dealing with rain from this storm today. So we're going to bring the latest to you from the Jersey Shore. We're in North Wildwood. We're going to make our way around the city here today, talk to locals, talk to officials about what this season has been like for them as the winds really continue to pick up and that sun comes out. And I could give you some more visuals of what we're seeing here, but guys, that wind is noticeable. I mean, that rain's coming down essentially sideways.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it's not a nor'easter, but to be honest, it kind of looks like that.
Yeah.
Katie, it is worth mentioning there's a slight tornado potential for South Jersey. We got a warm front that's moving up from the south, bringing this rain and the wind, and that could be a focal point for maybe some isolated severe weather. So it's a minimal risk, but one that could definitely catch a New Jerseyan off guard. I mean, you're from the general area. You've spent a lot of your childhood on these beaches.
And it does extend to Philly. I mean, let's not leave out a good chunk of down to North
Katie,
Carolina.
Would you expect a tornado this time of year?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think in New Jersey, you just don't, but I think whenever you have weather, people just pay attention, and hopefully that'll be the situation we'll hear from people on the ground today. I think no matter what, maybe people didn't take this storm too seriously yesterday, but when they wake up and feel these conditions this morning, they're going to say, oh, what's going on? This is definitely something I want to pay attention to, because you can't miss it, guys. I mean, look at these winds. They're wild.
Yeah, no kidding. And you mentioned some of the beaches. When you're out on those beaches, they're pretty extensive on the Jersey Shore, but some of them have little mini cliffs from some of the beach erosion, right? They're still trying to work on that.
They do. I mean, so much of the sand has been eaten away from the nor'easter. Some beaches have been closed. I know especially in parts of Delaware, some of the beaches have been shut down because of how dangerous those cliffs are in some areas. Here in New Jersey, one city, Ocean City, actually declared a local state of emergency because of their erosion issues. They're hoping that that just gets attention from legislators to help them fund a scheduled beach replenishment project, but we know that those projects have been ongoing, really, especially since Sandy kind of tore away so much of the sand that we had. And it's a bummer when we've seen projects just completed. I was here in Brick earlier this summer talking to officials with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers wrapping up a project there. And that was an area that saw some of the most rain from the nor'easter earlier this month. So much of that sand just got washed away, and it's like starting from scratch.
Yeah, well, be safe out there. I mean, just looking at you and listening to that sound, that tells the story from this big storm we're watching. That is Fox Weather Correspondent Katie Byrne live from North Wildwood, New Jersey.